Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. I'm here from Dewey Beach Music Conference in Dewey Beach, Delaware. And right now I'm sitting with Dean and Alex from the band Colourslide. Guys, welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Great to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, coming all the way up from Gainesville, Florida. Tell me, Gainesville's a place that's rich in musical history. Obviously, one of the biggest artists from there is Tom Petty. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers started out there. And, since then, there's been a lot of bands over the years. It's a great college town. Tell me about how you guys got together. Tell me, Dean.
Well, actually, it was really just we're the remnants of a previous band from Gainesville, and we happened to fall upon Alex after a couple of tryouts, and the first band was over, and so we kind of inducted him into Gainesville and that whole scene.
Where were you from originally, Alex?
I was in a band in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Called Melbourne, and we had the guy who produced the record that we eventually did was a mutual friend of both of ours. So we kind of met through him and got together and made this band.
Had you ever seen each other playing before in your respective bands?
Actually, no. I had heard their stuff because the producer of the record was actually in the band I was in. So we'd be traveling up and down the road listening to stuff he was getting ready to work, bands he was getting ready to work with, and they happened to be one of them. So we knew of each other, but had never really met until we decided to put the band together. So.
And then you just realized that musically you guys gelled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the record sounds great. I love that track, Wake Up Call, and I wanted to talk to you about that song. Now, hasn't it been used with NASCAR? They've used some of the stuff. I mean, I've heard all this crazy stuff. The stuff's been used.
Well, we got some stuff to ESPN through just sort of networking wise, and they got the CD and really liked 3 of the tracks a lot, and they decided to use Wake Up Call, the track you're mentioning, for Baseball Tonight.
Oh, it's
and that
baseball.
Stuff. Baseball.
Okay.
But in the second track they decided to use for NASCAR Now. So they're using that throughout the rest of the season, like every Wednesday and Friday. So it's there constantly on cable.
Which is a great thing to see, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, it's important for you guys to get some kind of sync rights for that as well. I love seeing nowadays artists. It's a great place for people to find out about a band.
It really is, and they've been like, we played a show in New York 2 nights ago, and all the ESPN people came down to the show and invited us back up to Connecticut to see the whole ESPN facilities, and they welcomed us, with open arms, and it was really cool. So,
what venue did you play in the city?
We played the Lions Den.
Oh yeah, Lions Den's always a fun place.
It was very fun. Yeah.
Right there in Bleecker in that area, right?
It was great.
So one of the things that I thought was really interesting also about your record and about the band is how many cool people that you had involved with the production of the record and mixing. I was really impressed. One of my friends, Ken Andrews, great producer, was in a band that he's loved by everybody from Eddie Vedder to Maynard Keenan from Tool. They love the band Failure. We were big fans of it. Never took off. We think maybe the name Failure was a little too prophetic. But let me tell you, I fought to make Stuck on You a buzz clip at MTV. To no prevail. I mean, I was able to get some on there, and that should have been a buzz clip, but
I saw you
introduce
that clip a few times.
Yeah, love that. I thought it should have been huge. Regardless, he's an incredible songwriter and producer, and it says a lot about people's faith in your music and the stuff that you write. Tell me how you ended up hooking up with Ken Andrews to mix that record.
Well, let's see. What we did sort of is we finished the recording, and we sent some mixes out to people that we got back and weren't really happy with at all. And then, we were listening to records one night, and I'm like, Ken Andrews' stuff sounds really good. Why don't we just send him something, see what he has to say? Yeah. And so there was 2 other guys as well that everyone just ended up working on the record one way or the other, and we really just blindly sent it to him. And we're like, we'd love for you to listen, and if you want to mix a song, we'd love. And he's like, yeah, I'll mix a song for you. You can tell me if you like it. So he mixes it, emails it back to us. We're like, wow, this is amazing. You want to do the rest of the record? And he's like, sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's great about him too. I mean, he produced those Failure records as well. He did his own thing. You know what I mean?
He's Pete Yorn. He's worked with May and all these bands, and I just love the stuff that he does. And he's also a nice guy. We eventually got to meet because he mixed in California. We were in Florida, and we email back and forth. It was just and then we actually ended up playing a show with him when his new record came out. We went to Atlanta and played with him, so it was really cool.
That's great. Now tell me about some of the other people that you ended up working with. I saw this list of great names.
We had Mark Trombino do a track on there.
And Mark's done so many things from Blink-182 to Newfound Glory to.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's a very strong producer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he did a fantastic job on our song as well. And we got Paul Hager to actually ended up doing a remix of that same song, Wake Up Call.
Yeah.
Actually.
Plotnikoff.
Mike Plotnikoff.
Yeah.
did better. So.
And he's also done a lot of great stuff in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it was really one of those things that we were just,
He
floored
worked with
by
the
all the
Rejects
people.
and a bunch of other people, so he's really
Absolutely,
done
yeah.
stuff.
So we were lucky. We sent it all out to all those guys, and they all said yes. And then we were like, oh, who are we going to go with? Because how do you choose? We just choose all three. So.
Now that's great. And, let's talk about some of the other people that have checked out the band. This is your own record label as well that you put together. Is that correct?
Yeah, self-released. I mean, we did
Yeah.
it. I mean, besides, of course, the mixing and the producing, we did everything else ourselves. So, and put it out there, and the ESPN stuff is helping, and iTunes, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really doing well, online.
Are you finding that you love in the new situation that you don't necessarily need the majors to do what you got to do? And I mean, had the stuff gotten around to some of the majors, and what was the reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it has floated around quite a bit, and we've had some attention, and like the New York show and a couple of shows that we've done in New York and DC and things like that. We've had some attendance, and that's been really great. And it's one of those things like we were talking about earlier. It's one of those things you gun for. I mean, it always helps to have some type of support other than just your own pockets, but it's not one of those things that really overrides everything and makes and decides everything for us. We don't make our moves just because we're going after a label, but it's absolutely one of those things that we'd love to have happen if it happened.
Tell me some of the bands that have influenced you and some of the people that you listen to and that you love and find inspirational.
Man, there's a ton. I got asked this the other day in Atlanta, and I think I go back and forth between the Smiths and REM as my two favorite bands, and I sort of love all that 120 minutes era of music, and of course the Beatles. I'm a big Red House Painters fan, and stuff like that.
Now, how about yourself, Dean? Tell me what you love, Dean.
I mean, a lot of my influences fall along the same lines, but I'm definitely a child of the '90s, and I grew up with Smashing Pumpkins, and obviously people like U2, which you might be able to kind of hear some of those kind of ideas on our record as well.
Absolutely, some of the guitar sounds in the room.
I really,
feel that.
as a guitar player, really try to emulate that to a degree, just because it's so clean,
pretty.
And, yeah, pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a good thing. I mean, absolutely. I mean, look at it. Now, you guys have also had stuff licensed for some TV shows as well. Tell me about that.
Really, just so far, the stuff really hasn't all the way gone through yet. It's pretty much, MTV and stuff like that. So that is in the horizon.
Right.
And it's, it's on the books, but not, hasn't happened yet. So.
That's really good. And now, one last question. Tell me about Gainesville and your following there. Have you built up, do you feel, was a lot of people that were part of the college scene there that went to see you guys? How many people come to see you when you play Gainesville?
I mean, we usually do pretty well. It's in the 300-400s, which most clubs, I don't know last time you've been to Gainesville, but most clubs are about that size,
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of places to play anymore.
But you're packing them out, which is a great thing.
Doing our best, yeah.
We're trying to learn.
Guys, it was a pleasure. Really
Thank
good
you.
to have you guys.
Likewise.
All the
Thanks,
best
Matt.
to you.
Thanks.
That's
Yo,
Dean and Alex from Colourslide.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you, guys. It's a pleasure. And we're going to check out part of their performance right here from the Dewey Beach Music Conference 2007.